CIMG logo on your shirt.
I know, it probably should be.
You could rob you something.
Yeah, I know. I'll send them some business.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to welcome Ben Griffin to the interview room at the 2025 Wyndham Championship. Ben, you're making your fourth consecutive start here, highlighted by 2 top 10 finishes. Can you just share some opening comments on what it's like to be back at Sedgefield?
Yeah, this tournament means a lot to me. Just growing up in Chapel Hill, just up the road. Had some good finishes here. My first year I played, Mark Brazel, tournament director, gave me an exemption, and I finished fourth, and it was a really cool moment. I was on the Corn Ferry Tour, was just getting my PGA Tour card for the upcoming fall, and it was a really good experience to kind of jumpstart my PGA Tour career. But yeah, this is one of my favorite events of the year. Just a lot of family and friends close by, and so really excited to come in this week with a lot more freedom than the last kind of couple of years, being on the bubble of the playoffs. Pretty much locked up a lot of things coming in this week. So playing stress-free golf, just trying to play my best and hopefully try to win this one because it's definitely way up there on my list.
2 wins already this season, sitting at number 7 in the FedEx Cup standings. What has the success so far this season done for your confidence, and what's the game plan going into the week?
Yeah, it certainly hasn't hurt the confidence. It's been pretty amazing. It's been an awesome year. And like the last couple of years, I was playing really good golf, but I hadn't quite broken through the way I have this year. And just continued to kind of work hard, made some changes, both physically with my body and then swing just in a really good spot. And so a lot of that hard work's kind of paid off this year. Continue to have built more and more confidence as I've gotten the experience against the best players in the world. It's been awesome to play and, added a major this year, U.S. Open that I hadn't played in before, and finished 10th there. So just trying to continue to learn, continue to build on my experiences and have a ton of fun along the way.
You mentioned hometown event for you, UNC alum, you're expecting a lot of friends and family to come out. Does that give you some sort of an advantage throughout the week, having them here supporting you?
It certainly doesn't hurt to have that support. It's always nice to get some cheers from the sidelines. But no, I think more than anything, it's just I'm very familiar with the golf course, familiar with the area, everything like that. And so I grew up, playing the AJGA Junior Invitational that was at this course. I played in that, 3 years. In college, we even, I think, came over here a couple times. And then, in professional golf, I've played it a few times. I've also gotten to know a few of the members. And so I remember when I was living in Chapel Hill in end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I remember coming over here and playing some with the members in some of their money games and everything. So gotten very familiar with this golf course. I know it better than most. I think Alex Smalley probably knows it a little better than me since he's a member here and lives here. But, very comfortable out here on this golf course.
Awesome. All right, we'll open it up to questions. You just raise your hand and we'll get you a mic. Start over here with Kevin Price.
Hey, Ben, I know 2 years ago you were kind of on the bubble here, missed the cut, and had to sweat it out, and I think Justin Thomas could have knocked you out of the playoffs. I guess, what do you remember about that week and that Sunday and what the kind of anxiety or nerves might be like in that position? Yeah, it's just I remember there being a lot of uncertainty. I remember having 3 different flights booked on Sunday night, not really sure where I was going to go, if my season was done, if I was flying home, if I was going on like a vacation, if I was going to Memphis. And it could have been closer or what it was kind of coming down to. I remember missing the cut, and the last thing you want to do as a golfer is kind of not be in control of kind of your destiny. I remember sitting on the couch with my fiance, she was a girlfriend at the time, so my ex-girlfriend. I remember sitting there with her and my dad, my mom, and we were just like, I think my dad had way too much anxiety. He probably left the room. But I remember watching that chip because we kind of knew if he chipped it in, Justin, then he was going to Memphis and I wasn't. And so, he hit the flag stick and it barely missed, and it was just nuts. Kind of just the maybe relief, but just like heart rate was super high just watching it. Flew out to Memphis that night, or either that night or the next morning, and was off to the playoffs. But I don't have to worry about that this week. I've got my flight booked to Memphis, and I'll be just fine. And you alluded to that, not having to worry, but for those guys on the bubble this week, or is that something like when you were on the bubble those couple of years, does it enter your mind down the stretch?
Totally.
Friday? Yeah.
You can't get it out of your mind. If you have, then you're a god. I mean, like props to you for your mental edge. But everyone kind of has those kind of thoughts in the back of their head. it's easy to kind of get rid of them if you're playing really good golf, at least kind of those first couple rounds, and you're sitting in a position where you don't really have to think about it too much, and you can focus more on winning the golf tournament. Because that's the biggest thing for us is when we get our minds off of winning golf tournaments, it kind of it inhibits, it just takes away from kind of your best golf. You start thinking about other things, and the more you can focus on winning, you're actually concentrated on staying aggressive and hitting really good, high quality shots. And so, I remember, or I guess for the guys this week that are on the bubble, it's you just got to have the most focus ever and just try to lock in and try not to get distracted by the external things.
We'll go right here to Luke.
Hey, Ben, I know you've talked about this a lot, especially since Oakmont, but just going back to your time out of golf, what sticks with you now from that period out of the game that you can still sort of draw upon? Is there anything that you learned then that has sort of contributed to, sort of coming back and then your success this summer?
Yeah, importance of rest. It comes to mind right now just because I'm coming off an off week, and after the British, long flights, everything like that, I remember feeling pretty a little bit tired. I just had a pretty long season, and so I took Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday completely off of golf. And back when I was working, I really wasn't touching a golf club at all unless it was with a realtor or a member guest or something like that. And when I did play, I was playing really well. It's not like I lost my natural talents or my game. So I kind of learned from that the importance of rest and not having to go to the range and grind for 3 or 4 hours a day, which playing on the mini tours and going up towards the Korn Ferry Tour, you feel like you kind of have to. You feel like you have to work really hard and change a lot of things and make your game, kind of build it for the PGA Tour. And in reality, if you're a really good golfer, things are going to take care of itself. You just got to kind of trust the process and make sure you feel good when you go and tee it up. So, it's nice to kind of, this July I've taken a little bit of rest after a long, hard stretch. I played the Open Championship. Unfortunately, didn't make the weekend there by a shot, but was playing good golf. I just had a couple of bad swings, and I've taken 2 weeks of the last 3 weeks off, so it's actually really nice to have a little refresher going into the playoffs and feel like I can kind of get back in the mix and build on each of these weeks.
Go right here to Ron.
Obviously, you're in great position with the FedEx Cup and everything else, but how much does the Ryder Cup sort of enter your mind right now?
Yeah. I feel like it's mentioned every single day, so it's always on my mind, whether I want it to be or not. And look, I've said it tons in interviews and stuff. If I just do the right things each week, and this week in particular, if I play really well and just focus on winning, the byproduct of that is going to be making that Ryder Cup team, and same with each week in the playoffs. And the more I kind of look at rankings or whatever, it's not going to help me. The only thing that can help me is playing extremely good golf against the best players in the world every single week. And if I do that, it's going to take care of itself. And so, it'd be an honor to be on that team. It's something everyone I think that's around, that's American at least, and in the mix of being on that Ryder Cup, everyone dreamed of it as a kid. And so, and even getting on tour and on the Korn Ferry Tour, everyone, those are the events you want to play in. You want to represent your country. It's just a tremendous honor. And, I want to make sure, my game, I can't just sit here and hope to get on that team. I need to continue to play really good golf because even if I was to, not play well and still be on that team, I want to be playing really well when I'm at the Ryder Cup. So I got to continue to do the right things right now and build these next month and a half stretch leading into Bethpage to where I'm playing really elite golf and I can beat Rory McIlroy and I can beat John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton. I want to have that mindset when I get there, and I don't want to just sit here on a boat and just relax and cruise into Bethpage. I've got to keep the pedal down, without a doubt. And I'm excited for the challenge. I'm excited to tee it up each and every day and challenge myself and try to make birdies on the hardest holes out here, and that's all I can do.
Helen?
Ryan's coming in after you. Can you talk?
I'm sorry for you guys.
Can you talk a little bit about the text that you sent him before Barracuda and whether you've demanded anything?
Yeah, just 50% of his earnings was all. I still haven't received anything. I've been looking on Zelle and Wells Fargo and Merrill accounts. Nothing's hit yet. So, yeah. But no, I don't demand anything. I think anyone would have responded kind of the same way I did to Ryan after, because he sent the text to both me and my caddy. It was like, hey, I'm second alternate. Should I come over there? And I mean, it was Tuesday. The answer is no. You're already at you're getting to Reno, if you aren't already there, like go focus on trying to win that, and don't even like look at the leaderboard of the Open. Don't pay attention to anything. Just focus on your tournament and what you're trying to accomplish. And I think any other golfer would have said that. It just so happens that me and Ryan are close, and so he texts me. But yeah, I'll take the credit, I guess. But he's the one that was hitting all the shots, and he played really well. I'm so happy for him and his career. He's been working harder than anyone, and it's really cool to have another Tar Heel win on tour. We've had a lot of momentum kind of in the last few years, and now we have David Ford out here as well on tour. So it's a really exciting time to be a Tar Heel.
What did you think when you found out that he won?
Oh, I was watching his whole final round. I was watching him make eagles from everywhere and making a bunch of birdies. And I thought Eric was going to miss his putt on the last, where Ryan could literally just pick up his ball, because the Stableford format, he could literally make whatever he wanted to. He could make a 15 on the last one, still win the golf tournament, because he can only lose 3 points. So, yeah, it was really fun to watch him grind down the stretch. I like the way he stayed aggressive in some big moments, and was still attacking pins and par fives, which is what you have to do on tour. And he obviously made some eagles and did the right things to lift up that trophy. And it's so cool to see him have that success. And yeah, a lot of really good players on tour got their first wins at not only like the Barracuda, but like the Puerto Rico, some of these opposite field events. And so it's just huge for his confidence. You know, I think Colin Morikawa won his first event there at the Barracuda, and look at where he's gone with his career. And so there's no doubt in my mind Ryan's going to kind of continue on that same path, and I got to do my best to stay ahead of him.
Go to John.
Ben, you mentioned when you weren't playing pro golf, you played in a few member guests. I'm assuming you won some of those? Or?
I actually, surprisingly, I only played in one. A lot of member guests didn't want me, or courses didn't want me to be qualified, because I was still technically professional. We did win our flight, and we went to a shootout. Me and Mike Swan was named member at Highland Springs Country Club, and yeah, we went to a shootout, and we birdied the first hole of the shootout. It's alternate shot, but other teams were getting strokes in the other flights. And I think we parred the second hole and lost the shootout. But there was like eight different teams. There's eight flights. So everyone's just going out in their little twosome playing alternate shot on I think it was like the 7th, 8th, and 9th holes there. And we did not win, but it's probably for the better. I don't want to win one of those things and get booted for life, but I guess I'm probably booted for life anyways, looking back on it now. Yeah, there's a lot of other things going on at member guests that don't need to be discussed.
Kevin?
I know Ryan and Gerard had mentioned at North Carolina sometimes Roy Williams would come around and you guys would like be on the range with him. And I was wondering if you had any kind of Roy Williams stories or interactions with him from that time at UNC.
Yeah, even before UNC, I remember playing Chapel Country Club. His house was on the right of the 7th fairway. Every once in a while, I'd leak one over there and kind of look and say, "Hey, is Roy in there?" He's got like a Kansas Jayhawk, embroidered on one of his windows because he was the coach there forever, and then the Tar Heel emblem as well. But yeah, he was a huge supporter of the golf program. He loved the golf program. He'd mention us in like press conferences with his basketball team, because I think golf has so many parallels to not only life but other sports too. And so he was so gracious when I was at North Carolina, just talking to us as a team. Even other coaches, Anson Dorrance. There's so many incredible coaches at North Carolina, and we were so grateful to kind of get insights from all the coaches, different coaches, and also spend time with Roy if he came out to the range. He's a very good golfer, and I think he plays probably a lot of golf now that he's retired and out of coaching. So, yeah, Roy was great.
And this is kind of a, I guess, thought experiment you could say, but a few years ago you mentioned that there were roughly 16 things you needed to do differently or better to get to number one in the world, and I think you were in the hundreds at the time. I have no idea if you recall thinking that.
Maybe thousands at the time.
And what would be, of those approximately 16, how many do you think you've accomplished now, roughly?
Yeah, I kind of want to see that list. I'm curious. Do you have it?
No, it was more of a kind of
mysterious. Yeah, I mean, I think I've done a lot of the right things kind of since I've come back to golf, and a lot of it's because I just have an incredible support system and sponsors and people, backing me, and allows me to kind of free myself up a little bit and play golf like I did when I was a kid, where you're not thinking about anything except trying to win and beat your competition and get better. And it's very difficult when you're at the mini tour level and out of college, where you're kind of out on your own and you're trying to balance all those things, try to have that mindset, but oh wait, we have rent payments. Oh wait, we're paying for our own food now. It's not like a team trip in college where you have your Chipotle and then you have your hotel room and all that stuff already planned for you. So Yeah, I think I've done a pretty good job of learning from my experiences and taking notes on what kind of I need to be better at. And I kind of changed those by even the day out here. Like, for instance, like before this, I wanted to make sure I got on the putting green. I worked on my putting for a couple hours because I could feel that something was a little off with my stroke. And so just being honest with myself about some of those things, understanding that I'm not perfect and I'm trying to do my best to be as good of a golfer as possible. And with that, I have to do the right things on and off the golf course. And, sometimes I've got to say no to things, and actually say no to things quite often, whether it's weddings, whether it's, events that could kind of get in the way of golf tournaments. It sucks because I have a lot of friends out there that I want to spend time with from time to time, but also I've got this tremendous opportunity on the PGA Tour, and I'm at the prime of my career, and I've got to kind of focus on that, and if I do the right things now, it'll set me up for life. Hell, it already has, kind of in a way. So I'm just very blessed and have a lot of people in my corner, and just trying to do my very best every time I tee it up.
What's one thing this year you've gotten better at specifically, and one thing you still feel like you need to get better
being really disciplined in the weight room this year has been huge for me. Also, hiring like a physio and taking care of my body better. The best players in the world are all doing it, and it was one of those things that, looking back, has definitely helped separate me from maybe some other golfers, and it's an investment that's definitely paid off. And so just traveling with the trainer and making sure I'm disciplined in the gym, working out pretty much every single day, maybe one off day every 2 weeks or so. So really proud of the way. That was more like almost even like a New Year's resolution to start, and then hiring Derek mid-year when I had some quad tendonitis in my left knee and had to fix a couple of things. I mean, I'm just proud of the way I've stuck to that, and I've gotten stronger, and it's definitely helped me hit it farther and stay healthier out here.
And then one thing you want to get better at, one of those things you feel like you need to elevate.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I feel like I can get a little bit better at. I hate using the word maintain because I definitely want to continue to get better, but there's definitely certain parts of my game that I think are really good, and I want to at least maintain or get a touch better. And then there's other parts that I need to tighten up a little bit. Like it's always kind of been for me more the driver that's been more of a challenge. This year I've driven it extremely well, but I can still get better with it. I can still hit more fairways, and if I do that, it's going to save more strokes. And that's kind of the start. And then that allows me to kind of take advantage of my irons a little bit more when I'm in the fairway more, and then I'm going to have better looks for birdie and all of that. It all starts off the tee, really, and I think a lot of the stats kind of have pointed into that direction in recent years. But even on outside of the physical, just mentally, just having more and more of an edge. And I think as I've gotten more and more experience this year, I've definitely gotten more and more confident. And I definitely have that, but I got to continue to kind of put myself in those positions. So I'd say like kind of goals moving forward is making sure I'm staying super focused and everything the first couple rounds to get myself back in the mix by Sunday.
Anyone else?
Yeah, let it rip, Kev.
Close us out.
Yeah.
Ian, in North Carolina, I wanted to ask this. Freshman year of high school, you said you had a wild story on the last hole of the state championship, kind of a turn of events, and I think I talked to you about it like for a written story, but never on video. So I wanted to ask here. I also know you said you were 4'11", so how far you were hitting it at the time and what you remember from that day. And
Definitely hitting it further now. 14, 4'11", playing against a senior, Andrew Decker, who was going to NC State. I hadn't committed to college. I'd achieved some stuff in junior golf by then, and it was probably pretty good at the time, and probably one of the favorites to even win it. But I was so young, and it's my first high school state championships. I'm playing as an individual, but I remember getting into a playoff. Pretty strong field. Grayson Murray was in that field. Carter Jenkins, who's on the Korn Ferry Tour. Zach Seabolt, Ryan Gerard. No, he was too young. He was 4 years younger. Eventually, he would have been in that state championship. But, a lot of incredible players in that. I remember going to the playoff. We both parted the first time, and then the second go-around, I chipped in, and Andrew missed his putt, and I was the winner. I remember I still have the video and everything. I've watched it before just to kind of fire me up if I ever need to. But, I literally was like I was probably so cocky back then. I literally, chip it in, and I'm, not even smiling. I'm just, so locked in. I'm supposed to chip that in. And nowadays, if I chip something, I'm definitely smiling. I feel like I have a different viewpoint on golf than I used to. It was probably way too competitive back then. But, Yeah, super fun super cool to win that state championships or that state championship, and yeah, I was trying to chase Brennan Todd's record of 3 4A state championships in North Carolina, and I didn't make it to state championships my senior year, surprisingly. I think I shot like 68 at regionals, 69. It wasn't good enough because they only let in 3 individuals. So that was a bummer, but nonetheless, really good memories of junior golf.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the time, Ben. Good luck this week.
Thank you, guys.